Okay, hello everyone. Welcome back to the Extreme Gaming League stream. We had some fun last night. We're going to have some more fun tonight with a bit of luck, because we have round 14 of the SLR online championship. The name used to be SRL. It is now SLR, so Slipstream League Racing, and that is how we will continue to refer to the league going forward. So this round we are at Monza. I am Terra Incognita. Alongside me is Thimo. I don't know if he's there right now, but he will be very soon. He is. How are you doing, Thimo?
I'm doing really well. I think we talked about this last race in the end. I personally don't really like Monza for driving it, but I think a race there could be really interesting. Because there's obviously lots of overtaking opportunities with the long straights. For example, if someone gets a bad run out of Parabolica or one Lesmo corner, then he will definitely be vulnerable for the RS attacks. So we might get good battles on track, and that's generally what we are looking forward to.
Yep, absolutely. It's definitely a track that produces some racing, despite not being all that interesting to drive. Lots of straights, lots of chicanes, lots of stuff like that. But in terms of the racing, we should get some plenty of good racing. As we see, one of the Ferraris is going to be first out. Looks like Triton is the first man to pull the trigger. And there's a bunch of other cars.
Once said the intelligent quote, "Why do you need practice for Monza? It's just braking and turning."
Yep, it certainly is. There's not much else to it. So a bunch of cars out of the pits immediately. We got Slash LP, who's a reserve for this one. Danny Coe, also a reserve. And the third reserve is going to make his, I believe, debut in this league is LOR Hartza 91 in the Force India. And there he is, coming out of the first chicane on his outlap. So we got some interesting reserve drivers. Slash LP and Danny Coe both have shown that they're reasonably fast. Slash LP had a couple of good performances last night before he had incidents. He was doing very well in the Melbourne race in particular.
Indeed.
But a bunch of people still in the pit lane, couple of McLarens in there, but most people now out on track. We got the two Haas's together on track coming out of the first chicane. Speedy following his teammate Hugo's.
Okay, I was just a bit confused because I thought Danny Coe had a full-time seat, but turns out he hasn't got, so...
Yep, I don't believe so. I believe he was one of the reserves mentioned by Ocean Chief before this race.
Ah, okay.
So,
I just looked it up. I thought he had a seat.
So here we go. We're going to follow Etney on his first flying lap. He's usually good value to show us exactly what this track is all about. Down the start-finish straight, heading towards the first chicane, brake just after the 150 meter board for the first chicane. He braked a little bit too late, went in a bit deep there, hit the second apex. Good smooth run on the way out, a little bit of oversteer on the exit, and it looks like he's abandoned this lap altogether because he wasn't happy with the first chicane, I imagine. Jason goes through. So usually the case when I decide to follow Etney around a lap, he usually makes a mistake somewhere. So instead we'll go for Speedy. Maybe I should do that for every lap that he's on, so we get some interesting races. I don't know.
That sounds like a plan.
So let's go for Speedy instead then. He crosses the line. He's starting a lap now. All the way up to 218, 219, 220 miles an hour again, braking just after the 150 meter board. He went a bit deep into turn 1 as well. Missed the apex at turn 2 just ever so slightly. Got a lot of oversteer on the exit, but did manage to get the power down through Curva Grande now. Turn 3 all the way around, easily flat. All the way over to the right hand side of the track. He'll be braking just after the bridge for the Rogier chicane. It's both apexes there. Anonymous puts in the first lap of the session. It's a 20.1. And Speedy has teammate Hugo's in front of him. Looks like he's ghosted. Oh, very wide on the exit of Lesmo 1 there. Didn't really have the car in the right spot for Lesmo 2. And Hugo's is desync for me again, which is very frustrating. So, well, it's going to be a fun game of guessing where Hugo's is once again. just like it was in Spa. This is the Ascari chicane.
Something seems to go wrong with him all the time for you.
Yeah, seems like it. Don't know exactly why that is, but oh well, we'll make the best of it in any case. Thimo will have to keep me up to date on exactly where he is.
Yeah, let's just hope he won't get into the battles too much, because then it could be really confusing.
Yeah, absolutely.
I wonder what it looks like if he collides with another car you can see, and the car just gets punted out of nowhere or something like that.
Yep, I think that's pretty much exactly what happens in that case. So yeah, we'll have to we'll play a fun guessing game, and we might even get to see his car spinning a couple of times, just like we saw in Spa, for no reason at all, because another car has hit it.
Yeah, the moment in Portray was pretty funny to watch back, because I was completely, I mean, I was obviously unaware, but when I watched it back, I was like, okay, what the hell just happened here?
Yeah.
Why is there cars flying? You just stayed completely calm. Oh, and Anthony puts in 19.6 and is a third of a second ahead of Triton now. What's the tires? Does anyone try some
good question. Nope, seems like Slash LP is on softs, everyone else on super softs.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't particularly expect any funny business with the tires. I think it's a pretty clear one-stop, super soft to medium.
Yeah, Monza not being really hard on the tires, so.
Yeah, no, it's not too bad. So Triton has put himself in a very good P2. Got Ferrari 2nd and 4th at the moment. Bantz as well has put in a very quick lap there. I'm in at 20.3, so he's P4.
Also, may I mention that the positions 5 to 8 are really close together.
Yep, within 300ths of a second from Copy all the way down to Jason in P8. So yeah, that's a bit of a gaggle. Now we got Sergios, who I believe is on a fast one. He's heading down the hill towards the Ascari chicane. Again, brake just about the 100-meter board, clip the first apex, be on the power as early as you dare, all the way through the second part of it. Then run a little bit wide on the exit. You can usually get away with that, even on strict, which is what we're on here today. And Sergios does brake just where the top haul-in ends there, and opens the steering out all the way through Parabolica, crosses the line, and he goes into second place. So a good lap from Sergios on the super soft tyres, within a 10th and a half or thereabouts of Etni. And he has plenty to think about now. Etni has plenty to think about as he goes out. I assume that's him going out for his second run. Just in the background there. No, it's not. That was his Sauber teammate. So Copy was just behind Sergios there. So 11 minutes to go in the session. Everyone, I think, will get 3 runs. And still plenty to play for. Copy decides he doesn't really fancy taking the Rogier chicane.
I'm not too familiar with the corner names here. I know, especially the first chicane has a really weird Italian name.
Yeah,
I'm not going to
the Retifilio chicane.
Yeah.
Or Variante Retifilio, if you want to be
why
properly Italian.
Why can't every corner be called Sachskurve? That would be so much better for me.
Yep. Yeah, then the Curva Grande is the long right-hander. That used to be the first corner, back when there weren't any chicanes in Monza, and it was absolutely terrifying.
The Lesmos.
Yep, the Lesmos were the Rogier chicane first. Yeah, the Rogier chicane first, that's the second chicane. And then, yeah, the Lesmos, Lesmo 1, Lesmo 2, and then, yeah, Ascari and Parabolica. So it's nice and easy. There's like 7 corners at Monza. It's not really a problem. As we see Copy, and that's a slow Ferrari letting him past. By the looks of it, that might have been Bantz. Let's go on board with Copy as he goes through the Curva Grande.
Wimpy is actually not driving today.
He's not, no. He had to work, I think, I gather. So unfortunately not able to join us today. He's going to be obviously watching the VODs though, so you'll be able to catch up on what's happening. Hey Wimpy, hey everyone. Sergios has gone fastest of all on a 19.5, so Sergios putting a marker down in this session. Good stuff from him.
Meanwhile, Triton just goes across the first chicane really
yeah.
slowly.
Oh yeah, and Copy completely cut Ascari, so he's not going to be setting a fast time this time.
Yeah.
Saving his battery maybe for another lap. So 8.5 minutes left in the session. Anonymous now is in P3, so he's improved as well. As we see, Copy is going to do another lap.
And Speedy gets himself up into P4.
Yep, Speedy into the 19s as well. 5 people in the 19s so far. And we see Bantz now going through the first chicane. He's going to try and get into the 19s as well. Copy looks like he's abandoned his lap. Here goes Bantz down towards the Rogier chicane. And break just after the bridge there and get it turned in nicely. That was good. He got the power down nice and early on the exit as well. Into Lesmo 1, got to hit a late apex there. That was pretty good. He could maybe have got it hooked in a little bit more, but it was fine. Into Lesmo 2, just clips the curb a little bit, runs a little bit wide. Had to wait a little bit on the throttle, I think, because he was sideways. But not too bad overall. He gets it planted all the way down towards the Ascari chicane. We don't have a sector time, unfortunately, so I don't know how good this lap actually is, but he's still on it, so it suggests it's not bad at all. Heading down towards the Parabolica, brake at the 75 meters or thereabouts. Get it hooked in. It was a reasonably good apex, and he's got a little bit sideways on exit, but it was fine. He's going to cross the line, and he's going to go P4 on exactly the same time as Anonymous behind him. Or in front of him, rather. So Bantz up to P4. Triton is the other Ferrari. And he is P6. And he yep. So not going to bother taking the chicane.
Just for context, in case any one of the viewers didn't know, if two drivers put in identical lap times, then the one who set his time early in the session gets awarded the higher position, basically because the track gets faster and faster the longer the session goes, because of the grip levels rising. Yeah, so absolutely. Basically putting in the same time early in the session is a bit more of a it's a bit harder to pull off, and therefore you get rewarded by the higher position, and that is why Anonymous is currently in P3 ahead of Bantz.
Yep, absolutely. It's happened a couple of times in real F1. Notably in the 1997 title decider, when Jacques Villeneuve and Michael Schumacher were, and Heinz-Harald Frentzen all posted exactly the same lap time.
Sergius just told me our stream is apparently offline.
Stream is definitely not offline because I have it open on my mobile. And apparently we have 3 people watching, so I don't think it's offline. What's
okay, so if you go onto the channel, then you can see SRL round 14 Monza with 0 views, and if you click on there, then you can put in then it's just the thumbnail and nothing is happening, and then there's something called there's still F1 2018 EGL Racing Rivals tournament, so that
is very curious. I don't know why that's happened. Let me go and fix that. It's going to be a black screen for a minute. I apologize to those of you who are watching. Let's have a look.
I'll post the correct link. We only have 3 viewers at the moment, so that's probably the explanation.
That might be why. Yeah, I don't know. I'm going to try my best to fix it. Apologies for this, everybody. I know it's a black screen at the moment. It won't be for too much longer. We still got a few minutes left to go in the qualifying session. So SLR 14. So why is that not... Oh dear, that's not very good, is it? So we're going to have to fix this thumbnail. Where is the thumbnail? There it is. Save. And we'll also save the... No, eventually. Am I going to have to refresh this? That's a little bit frustrating. I guess I do have to refresh it. Okay, so that's worked. And it's SLR round 14, Monza. Save. Okay, I think we're good.
Okay, great.
So, we're back. 4 minutes to go in the session, still the same as it was. Etney has retired. What happened to Etney?
I don't know, I don't see it. I'm trying to fix... Yeah, I'm trying to tell people that that's the actual stream.
So Etney is not going to be on pole position for this race. He has retired. I don't know whether he put it in the wall or whether he decided to retire. Hey, Win Pete, good to see you in chat. Let's go, boys, indeed. As Jason retires from the session as well. So we're seeing Ocean Chief. Oh, that's why he's retired, because it's raining. So, no, I don't think anybody's going to be improving. I don't know what the weather forecast is for the race. I might ping Ocean Chief. Actually, could you... Oh, as Ocean gets it all wrong and retires from the session as well. He loses a wheel. Would you mind pinging Ocean Chief and asking him for a weather forecast now that he's retired?
No, I wouldn't.
So here's Copy on a fast lap, but it's not actually going to be a fast lap because the rain is coming down. So Sergios is going to be on pole for this one. So Etney with a little bit of work to do from second place on the grid.
So, how's it looking now if you go onto the Extreme, onto our channel? Okay, the title is... Oh, no, it's fine.
Hey,
now it's
fantastic.
how it should be.
That is good.
Okay. Yeah, that was a bit of a weird bug or something. A dry race, and the quali apparently was supposed to be dry too, so the game just said, woo, let's make it rain.
Surprise, wet. That's how it should be. Oh dear, I don't think it should be a forecast particularly, other than a very vague one. I think that's kind of what I would like to see, is a little bit more surprise when the rain starts falling.
Hertha is actually in P10 with his soft tire, so...
P10 with it.
I mean, he gained one position by this.
With his soft, I think he's on super softs. I've got him on super softs.
He's on... For me, he's on softs.
Okay.
He's also currently running them.
Okay, definitely on super softs for me. So I don't know. Maybe he is on softs. Somebody
thanks, Bugmasters.
Yeah.
Oh, never mind. He set his best time on super softs, but he's currently on softs. So that's
okay. There we go.
Because I was looking.
Because I was So I was on best. Yeah, so fitted. Yeah, he's on softs at the moment. So we're just waiting for this session to end. Nothing's going to particularly change. I don't think. You can see Sergios is going to be on pole position with a 1 minute 19.5. Etney a 10th or so behind, and then Anonymous and Dance doing exactly the same lap time, but because Anonymous did his first, he gets P3. Dance gets P4, then Speedy on row number 3, he's in P5. Triton in the second Ferrari in P6. Hugo's in the second Haas in P7, and there's going to be a fun guessing game of guessing where Hugo's is, for me at least, because he is desynced with me.
Yay.
Then Copy in the second Sauber on P8, and then Michael and Hutz are the new boy, rounding out your top 10. So we're just waiting for everyone to retire. I'm sure they will do very shortly indeed. The timer reaches 0, and that is the end of the session. So there we go. And that is your grid. So Sergios on pole, championship leader of course, and wasn't the favourite for this race. Etney has been in such good form recently and has gotten himself so much pace that he probably was the clear favourite, but Sergios doing a really, really good lap early on in the session, which mattered because it ended up raining at the end of the session. We said for strategy, I think it's a pretty clear super soft to medium. So it should only be a one stop for our drivers today. Maybe we'll see a couple of people punting on either taking the medium early or taking the soft tyres in the hope of getting onto the super soft in the second half of the race. Towards the back of the grid, that is. Obviously, if you're in the top 10, you don't get free tyre choice. Is there much happening on Discord, Thimo? I hear you typing away in the background.
No, I was chatting with Benz over something.
Ah. So yeah, Hugo's is desynced, so
yeah,
it's gonna be.
I will keep you up to date.
Yeah, thank you. I'm gonna need some updates. Hopefully, Speedy gets himself disqualified. A bunch of people get themselves disqualified, in fact. So cold tyres for a bunch of people at the front of the grid.
Could become problematic in turn 1, to be honest.
Yeah, it matters a little bit more than probably it usually does, because there's a long run to turn 1 on this Monza track, and then a big stop at the end of it. There are probably going to be crashes into turn 1. So
yeah, that's pretty much the standard.
Yeah, it is one of the most difficult turn 1s to navigate in the whole calendar, because it's so tight and there's only really one line through there. So if you go in 2x2, it's very difficult to get around.
Yep. There's basically always one car sideways, at least, when going through basically, turn 2. There's most of the times one car sideways, and then you have to try and avoid that particular car without getting pushed into the gravel trap or something like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Basically what happens all the time. So Monza turn 1 is pretty infamous for producing lots of crashes. Open lobbies are pretty much certain death for those who are not like first, second, third.
Yeah, so, pretty much. It's very difficult.
Let's hope not too many races get crushed in this turn 1.
Yep, hopefully nobody decides to hero one down the inside or misses their braking point or whatever.
Yep.
So here we go. The drivers coming up to the grid. You see the cars that have been disqualified already on the grid. That one is /LP, as Please gets himself disqualified as well, right at the end.
By the way, I don't know if you mentioned it, but what happened to Briggy?
I don't know. What did happen to Briggy? Because he didn't do a lap.
Was he just lacking pace, or...?
Doesn't have a penalty, does he? I don't know. I don't think he did a lap. I'm not absolutely sure, though. But good point. Okay. So,
and he's actually... There's actually lots of drivers from 11 downwards with super softs, and now the lights are on.
The lights are going out. Speedy gets himself a penalty, and 2 people gets a penalty, and Triton as well. Speedy. So away we go into the turn 1. Speedy's going to lead, but he's going to have to do a stop-go penalty, so is Triton. And the real leader is Sergios then as they come into turn 1. Etney just behind them. Oh, and a dive down the inside, I think, from Bance. Etney had to miss the chicane. So did Anonymous. Etney gets himself a 3-second corner-cutting penalty for that. And all sorts of jostling for position behind. Bance eventually lost out there in turn 1, despite going down the inside, and he had to back out of it. So a bunch of cars all together heading into the Rogier chicane for the first time, as Michael's right up there too. So, wow.
What and there's a spin! There's a spin! The Renault gets spun! Anonymous just got collected by one of the Force India cars. I don't know if it was Haas or Jason. I'm not quite sure now.
And he's in the wall in a big way at the second time as well. So, don't know what happened to Anonymous. He's all the way at the back now, though.
Yeah. He got spun by one of the Force India cars in the second corner of Rogier. Rogier, is that right?
Yep, yeah, that is right, yep.
And Sergios is now ahead of Triton. So... yeah, Speedy will have to come into the pits pretty soon, as well as Triton, of course.
Within the next 3 laps.
A drive-through penalty costs you like 15 seconds?
Something like that. They'll be right at the back of this lead group, certainly. So Speedy is going to come into the pit lane this time. Triton stays out, so Speedy relinquishes the lead to Sergios, who does the fastest lap of the race. Triton deciding, I think wisely, to keep himself out there for a little bit and try and get a little bit more of a gap on the runners right at the back, because he won't want to feed back too far into the pack. 1 mile behind. What have they got? I don't have any gaps, unfortunately. I think because Hugo's is desync for me, I'm going to struggle with gaps. So Sergios is leading. Triton is second. Etney right behind Triton now in third. And he does have that 3-second corner cutting penalty, of course. So
yeah, that will make his life really hard.
Yeah, you have to get a gap on Sergios if he wants to win this race.
Yeah, and especially if you consider the current championship standing situation, then yeah, it kind of becomes clear that Etney can't really give away any points, because I don't know how far he is back, but he is really far back in the standings there, and yeah, it's getting fewer and fewer. He has got fewer and fewer opportunities for every race he doesn't win.
Yep, absolutely right.
The intervals are back to Famir as well.
Yep, they are for me as well. It's not very helpful as yet. Triton decides that now is the point where he wants to make his pit stop. So
meanwhile, SlashOP making a pass on Tipsy Bob, and Copy is disconnected.
Okay, so Copy, yeah, he's all the way down the order. So
and Jason is now trying to overtake Briggy into turn 1. And
Briggy all the way up in P7.
Yeah, exactly. And the Force India Farzer gets a bit onto the curb in turn 2. Jason claims that position. I don't know if he was in front initially or if it was Briggy. Probably Briggy, because he came from all the way back in the grid.
Jason has a little bit of a look down the inside.
Are a really closely matched train at the moment on track, from 7th to 9th, and now
side by
Briggy
side,
goes down the inside into the first Lasmo. Not a usual overtaking spot, but it worked out fine.
Yep, he got a better run. He got a fantastic run out of the Rogier chicane, and yep, drew up alongside. Very nice move from Briggy. So he's up to P6 now in this race. Where is Hugo's, by the way?
I just wanted to say, Bans is slipstreaming off Hugo's through Ascari. Well, through the straight before Ascari. Now they are heading towards Parabolica, so it looks like Bans will try to overtake Hugo's with the DRS. He will definitely get, and Hugo's gets a wide run in Parabolica with 2 wheels off the track on the outside, and that should give Bans the momentum to take this position. He dives to the inside, and I think this overtake is pretty much sealed. So
I'm looking at Bance now. It's just him by himself, but running the inside line for some reason. But yeah, he does get that move done by the sounds of it. And into P5, so Hugo's down to P6. Gloves and steering wheel runs across the first chicane there as well.
Oh, in the background! Jesse just spun SlashLP for a bit. SlashLP made the move stick in turn 1, and then Jesse just collected the rear of SlashLP and made him go sideways in turn 2. So I think this one is on Jesse, so SlashLP will probably be a bit frustrated. Gloves and steering wheel, meanwhile passing J-Rocks for P9.
Nicely done from, what is P9, because Hugo's is actually in front of them. Hugo's is P5. Bugs, my standings are bugged as we see Briggy down the inside into Ascari for P6. So Hart's demoted to 7th place, and I think Briggy did
a really good race. He is definitely in driver of the day contention.
Yeah, absolutely, as Jesse gets himself a penalty for multiple warnings.
Now, Gloves and steering wheel and J-Rox having a bit of a scrap on track. J-Rox will definitely have a look into turn 1. Tries to get the better run, and it could become close between Yugos and Bans. Yugos moves to the outside, Bans covering the inside line, trying to defend it, but Yugos' speed is just superior, so he takes that position, and Yugos drifts over the... Yugos cuts the chicane, basically, by losing his car. He got a lot of oversteer, lost the car in the braking, I think, and then he went over the chicane, and that made him lose so much speed that Bans actually slipped through again and is up into P4 again. Michael is in P3, so really stand-up performance by him.
Yep.
Let's have a look who has gained the most positions so far.
Must be Briggy, surely.
Yeah, it is Briggy. He gained 14 positions, but also Michael started in P9 and is now in P3. So great by him. Triton is down in 16th, and where's Speedy? He's in P12. So it really went all wrong for those two.
Yeah, we
didn't even get new tires.
We just saw Speedy passing a couple of cars. He was in that Jesse/LP gaggle, and he managed to get past them. So good stuff from Speedy, recovering from that jump start. We saw both he and Triton jump the start. I think Triton moved in response to Speedy, which is quite unfortunate.
Yeah, that's something that happens pretty frequently. If one car gets it wrong, more cars get it wrong, and then you've got like 5 people with the drive-through penalties.
Hart's a pits. And he gets himself a penalty as well because he didn't get it stopped in time for the line.
And Hugos has just made the pass against Benz.
Okay, so
Nothing
Hugo's
spectacular down the main straight. Benz losing it a bit on traction there.
So Hugo's up to 4th.
Yes. They will definitely not gift each other any positions. By the way, Triton is in DRS, is inside the DRS window of Sergio, so he has probably
You mean Etney?
done some. What did I say? I
said
Triton,
yeah.
right? I said, yeah, I meant Anthony.
So
you're right.
Watching Ocean Chief now, and gloves and steering wheel side by side on the exit of the chicane. A little bit of wheel banging, but Ocean I think is going to get that move done before Lesmo won. So nicely done by him. Triton gets himself a penalty. He's trying to recover, of course, from that jump start. His gloves and steering wheel now following Ocean down the back straight towards the Ascari chicane.
Has taken Yoga. It's pretty unfortunate that the most active pair of drivers in terms of overtaking each other are not viewable for the stream. You guys almost had a look down the inside of Parabolica, so just assume you're listening to some radio program that's breaking down the race or something like that, as Yugos gets a really good run out of Parabolica and passes Vance before even opening his wing for DRS. So Vance will have some struggles keeping up with him, but Yugos gets the worst turn 1, so Vance is right up his chuff now.
So up front, the battle between El Sergios and Etney is very much on, because Sergios has not managed to break the DRS, or I think he did manage to break the DRS for the first couple of laps, but now Etney is back in DRS range.
Ocean Chief goes over the chicane, and gloves and steering wheel runs into him. I don't know whether he lost something of his wing. That looked really, really weird. It looks like it basically was a Ocean Chief did a Mika Häkkinen 1999 cosplay there. Exactly the same spot. On downshifting, he just randomly went to the left over the chicane.
Well, that's a costly mistake from Ocean. He was having a very good race up there.
And gloves and steering wheel loses it on his own in the Lesmo after having hit Ocean Chief. So now they can have their battle in P15 and 16 instead of P9 and 10. So it really went wrong for them.
Fastest lap of the race from Etney, and here's why. He's in the slipstream and he has DRS, and he's going to have a look down the inside into turn 1. He locks a brake, a little bit of contact as just tries to get it slowed down. Don't know whether he got any damage, but certainly at the moment Sergios has the advantage as they head up towards the Rogia chicane. Etney back in the slipstream once again. Sergios covers the inside. Etney goes to the right, which is the outside line, as they break for the chicane once again. Good stuff from Sergios. Manages to keep the position, at least for now.
By the way, Yugos and Benz are having a good battle.
Well, you're going to have to keep us up to date on that one. I can't watch that, unfortunately. So
currently, Benz is ahead by half a second. And Briggy has joined the fight,
I was going to say, Briggy was not very far away from the back of Bance. I guess because those two are holding each other up, Hugos and Bance.
Yeah, so, they are. It's half a second now between Briggy and Yugos, and also, Jason has got a little less than 2 seconds up on the, against these two. And now it looks like Yugos is more vulnerable to Briggy than Vance is to him. And Briggy might even have a look here in Parabolica. No. This is, of course, his home race in Italy, him being Italian.
So let's have a look at this. Let's have a look at this battle. We're not going to see Hugos' car, but we can see Vance and Briggy as they cross the line.
And now Hugos is going to the outside line, and he just lagged behind. He had a shot at getting Benz and
Briggy right across the chicane. Oh no!
5 second stop go penalty for corner cutting. Wow, you weren't supposed to do that.
Yep, he also got a 3-second time penalty, so he got a warning and a separate penalty as well for that one. Danica with a penalty for speeding in the pit lane. So costly mistake.
I kind of lost his cool there. So
it's Hugo's in front of these two now.
What happened was basically Hugo's moving to the outside, Benz covering the inside line, and then both broke pretty late, and Briggy just thought, okay, let's send it. And so he did, and collected Benz in the process, pushed him over the chicane, and effectively gaining himself 8
Vance
seconds.
Was in the middle of the road there. Briggy has to go to the outside as they go in towards the Ascari chicane. Vance is not going to give him it, but nicely done by Briggy. So where is
almost losing his car.
Yeah, he did. Where is Hugo's in all of this? Is he ahead of these two?
Hugo's has slipped away a bit. He's broken DRS 1.5 seconds up the road.
Okay, so Hugo's in a very solid
and
P4.
And Edney is pitting from P2, so undercut, possible undercut on Sergios. I think if they stretched these tires for 10 laps, so they might be able to finish on softs.
Yep, I think they might as well. As no, he's putting they are softs.
Are they?
No, they're mediums. So
Edney's getting mediums, and Jason is ahead of Benz. He has passed him into turn 1. These two, of course, knowing each other really well. They had a bit of cuddling going on in turn 4. Turn 3 of Hungary.
Yep, absolutely. So Jason had a very good race last week at Spa, and he's having a good race this time as well.
Trying to go for the revenge. Gloves and steering wheel almost getting into the way after he retired there. And Jason keeps the inside line and therefore gets to keep the position. J-Rox is really close behind Speedy now. I think Speedy made an overtake.
Yep, it looks like it.
Behind him, I guess.
Yep, I think so too. So Sergios leading, and Hugo's is in P2 right now, I believe. Is that right?
Is he? Well, no, he's in P10. He's stopped.
Oh, he pitted. Okay, that's that explains that then.
Ahead of Ocean Chief, half a second.
Okay, so that's where he's come out, just behind Tipsy Bob. Speedy gets himself a penalty.
Yep.
So
that's 2 seconds to Tipsy, so not too bad in terms of getting held up. But
Sergios pits from the lead.
It looks like Ocean Chief might try to take the fight. He moves to the outside, and Hugas slows down and lets Ocean Chief through. I don't know what I just witnessed, but it was weird.
Okay, I was going to say, I hope that's a spectator glitch, because it looked like Sergios was having to wait to pit behind a phantom car, but he's underway again, and no problems there. So J-Rox takes the lead, albeit temporarily, because he hasn't stopped yet.
Undercut didn't work. How big is the gap? I think it worked out better for Sergios. It's almost 2 seconds. So did Edney get held up? I don't know.
I don't know either. I think cold tires for Edney, because he's on the mediums, and he is on the mediums, and Sergios is on the soft. So it might be that Sergios has a little bit more pace, at least for now, and Edney might come back towards the end of the race. We will see, though. He's obviously confident enough to be able to take the soft tyres instead of the mediums, Sergios. So we'll see whether that pays off for him or not. Jesse having a good race. I know he had that incident a little bit earlier on, but he's still on the super softs, and he's still going in P8.
P9 actually, because he's
behind Hugo's, of course.
Hugo's is currently in P8, running behind Ocean Chief, probably waiting for the latter to pit. Ocean Chief just had a bad run out of Lasmo, so that might make him lose a position. Yeah, he basically gives P7 to Hugas now, and sorts in behind him in Ascari. Hugas now in P7 again.
Oh, penalty for Jesse as we were riding on board with Jesse. He gets himself a penalty. So
I think he already had one.
So here are the leaders. J-Rock still out. He has not stopped yet.
Harzer might be able to do something on the main straight, and Edney is apparently back in DRS window. Harzer now going for a wider line through Parabolica, getting himself into the slipstream, of course opening... No, never. Okay, both open their wings, and still speed advantage for Harzer because of slipstream. Moves to the outside, tries to sneak this position away off Jason, but Jason breaks later. Even though he locked up a bit, he managed to not overshoot.
3 seconds. 3 seconds for Edney. So Edney's got 6 now with that corner cutting penalty at the beginning of the race. He also gets a penalty for multiple warnings, so as Hartzer does get the move done on Jason, very nicely done into the chicane. Briggy leaves the session. What happened there? Don't know. He's now ghosted though, so
he's still running. Yes.
Yeah, don't know exactly what happened there. Bance has come out of the pit lane on his soft tyres, so Bance is going to be on softs to the end of the race. He's going to have a little bit more pace, I would think, than the medium runners just ahead, with Hartzer and Jason on those medium tyres. So we'll keep an eye on this as it develops. Bance currently P11 because Hugo's is actually ahead, and I can't see that, but he is. Now he's in the slipstream of Jason as they head up towards Parabolica. Jason, again, is going to look to defend, I think. That's not close enough this time, but he will be, I would imagine, as they come onto the front straight. The wide line there from Jason as Ocean finally pits. Slash LP still hasn't pitted on his super soft, so 12 laps.
Hugos just took Tipsy Bob into turn 1. Tipsy, of course, not pitted yet on soft tyres though.
Okay, so Hugo's up to P6. Tipsy down to
Basically
P7.
net P4.
As J-Rox is still out there, but he's been overtaken by Sergios now. And Etney
will be
behind.
the next.
Yep. So this battle rages on here for P9. The two Force Indias running together. Hartzer has overtaken his teammate. And now Bance looking all over the back of Jason as well. We've seen these two battling before. They have history, of course. That crash in Hungary. One's a little bit wide there. Gets himself a good run out, but of course Jason has DRS as well because he's in range of his teammate. So not going to be easy for Bance to get this done. Oh, 3 seconds for Jason. He cut the first part of the Ascari chicane. And he gets himself a warning and a penalty for that one.
Etney now in the slipstream of J-Rox, and he moves to the inside. Nothing really J-Rox can do about this. And he just lets Etney go ahead and go into and yeah, Anonymous actually crashed out of Ascari, so he lost it on the exit of Ascari. I was just about saw the corpse of the car at the side of the road.
The cars in turn 1. Bance hits the back of Tipsy Bob and just about manages to survive. He held the car up, he held onto the car. He was sideways all the way into the first corner there because he put his wheels on the grass, but does eventually manage to survive. So Tipsy being overtaken by the two Force Indias. I think he will be overtaken here by Bance as well into the braking zone. He's on much older tyres, of course, because he hasn't stopped yet. So Bance does get that move done. As we see through Lesmo 1 they go, the two Force Indias, followed by J-Rox gets himself a penalty. So J-Rox isn't... Is J-Rox third right now? Is that right?
Yeah, he's third.
He is third. Oh yeah, because he still hasn't pitted.
You guys pit again. I didn't see that. He's now in P17.
Okay.
I don't know why.
Well, he's in P17 for me as well, yeah, on softs by the looks of it.
Yes, for me as well.
I can't see him, but yeah, so something happened to Hugo's, we didn't see exactly what. But he probably is out of contention.
P12 with a disconnected car. Triton really close to Slash LP, maybe even making a move on Parabolica. Yeah, he actually had a bit of a look, forces Slash LP to go wide, avoiding a collision. And now Triton might get the better run. Of course, with DRS, he will be able to make the move. And so he does. We
got the two Force India scrapping up ahead for P5 and 6 as well. So side by side, heading down towards the Roger chicane. Bance lying in wait behind the two of them. And still they are side by side, heading into the chicane. Who's going to be later on the brakes? It's going to be Jason, at least for the time being.
Oh, Jason gets, I think, a wheel onto the gravel, and that makes Hartzer
got a great run.
Not enables Hartzer to go through. Bance
fantastic
can find
racing.
the gap. It's a narrow track, so two cars... Yeah, it's basically only two cars wide, so Bance didn't have a chance, but now he might get a good run. Jason will have DRS. Yeah, they move alongside each other, so Bance will be forced to back off early and maybe go for a better exit out of Ascari to try something on the run towards Parabolica. I can definitely see something going
good
wrong
stuff.
here, to be honest.
Good stuff.
And now Jason... Oh,
guys,
Jason moves a bit to the side.
make
He
it 3
almost
wide.
squeezed Vance,
He was
but
just
in the
clear
end
of
it
Vance
turned
by the
out
looks of it.
fine.
Oh, and they
No,
are 3
he's
wide now.
braking late.
And once again,
He's
we're
braking
seeing all sorts of fun and games
pushing
between
Harzer
Jason and
wide.
Vance.
And Vance slipped through, so Harzer got pushed a bit there, and Jason moved to the inside. That was a bit resemblant of what happened before that crash in
Hungary. Yeah, they were 3 wide
but
just for a
this time
second.
it went well for Vance going down the inside and taking the position. Nothing happens into turn 1, but now through Cova Grande with Vance on the soft tires against the mediums of Jason. He may be able to make a move. He is already alongside him in the braking zone. Later braking by Jason though. Wide run is run out of the bad. Second turn will be bad, and it was bad, and they made contact. Harzer also taking the position. He's wrestling. He was wrestling a bit there with Jason. I didn't quite see that. I was on board with him. So
yeah, lots of fun and games. Vance was in the middle of a Force India sandwich, and there was contact between all 3 of those cars. So I don't know whether Vance actually, either Vance or Harzer will have had wing damage from that. Doesn't look like it. They both seem to be running on pace, but certainly as Jason gets it all wrong there on the exit of Ascari. But they seem to be alright for the time being. Vance is going to have to try and stretch his legs now, though, because there is a Speedy looming in the background as well, having had his stop-go penalty, or drive-through penalty rather, at the beginning of the race for the jump start. Speedy has managed to catch his way back up into contention. He's P7 at the moment, and he's got these guys within sight as Harzer goes to the outside into turn 1 of Vance. He tries to brake late, but he can't quite brake late enough. Didn't get it stopped in time, and in fact he's going to be under pressure from his teammate once again. Vance with a little bit of breathing room out of turn 1, so he might be able to stretch his legs on those soft tyres.
Just a little side note, Elsa just managed to get away with Etney, so I think this is pretty much sealed. Etney having 6 seconds worth of penalties, so it's basically 11 seconds between those 2 now. On track, of course, only 5. The first penalty was pretty unfortunate for Etney. I think he got pushed over turn 1. Or, well, rather he got pushed over turn 2, so he was forced to skip that and got the 3 seconds for it, if I'm not completely mistaken.
Yep, absolutely right.
Okay, so yeah, the second 3-second time penalty was probably kind of deserved by the strict corner cutting rules.
It was for multiple warnings, but yeah, he's got 6 seconds total, so I don't think he's going to be catching Sergios. I want to give some screen time here to Michael in 3rd place, because
also you should probably go to the Force Indias now. As Harzer dives into the pits for a second stop.
So Harzer pits, and Jason now being caught up by Speedy. So Jason has fallen off the back of Vance. He's got Speedy just behind him. But yeah, I want to give some screen time to Michael, who's had a fantastic race so far. Very lonely race in 3rd place, but he's certainly a considerable distance ahead of the Vance Jason scrap, and he is going to pick up some very good points if he manages to keep it on the road where he is at the moment. Here then is the battle for P5, Jason and Speedy, who going through the Lesmos now. Speedy on those medium medium tyres, of course, the same age as Jason's, so he has caught him up on pace. He's made up several seconds since they both stopped, so we'll see if he can manage to get a pass from somewhere. As Vance gets himself a penalty, so 3 seconds he got that at the Ascari chicane.
How are Jason and Speedy with penalties?
Speedy has at least 1. I don't know about Jason. I haven't seen anything pop up, I don't think, for Jason. But certainly Speedy has 1, as Jason does run a little bit wide there on the exit of the Parabolica. Now he's got Speedy all over him, and Speedy, I think, is going to be passed very easily as they head down to turn 1. There he goes. So Speedy up to 5th position in this race, despite that jump start.
Yeah, good stuff from him. Or rather, good recovery after that bad start.
Yep, absolutely.
That start is basically putting it mildly. Now he might get re-overtaken by Jason famous for braking really late into this chicane, and so he does, and claims P5 back. So, oh, and Etney with the next penalty.
Yep.
Now it's 9 seconds.
Yep.
It's getting
Michael
it's starting to
just
get
got
close with
himself.
Michael.
Well, Michael just got himself a penalty as well. So Michael has at least 3 as
okay.
Jason gets it all out of shape on the exit of Lesmo 2. He's got Speedy all over the back of him. This is a DRS zone, so Speedy will be passed before they get to Ascari, I'm sure. There he goes.
J-Rock's creeping up behind them, slowly.
Yeah, J-Rock, who of course,
closer and closer.
who of course
Now
pitted.
in P7.
So he's off sync with these guys. So he was on the soft tyres to begin the race, and he's now on the super soft tyres. So he's going to be very fast here. He might get down the inside of Speedy as well. He doesn't quite manage to brake late enough, but he's going to have a run on Speedy here as they come out of Parabolica.
He might make it too.
I think he definitely will.
Turns. Yeah, he. Oh my God, his superior grip is just insane.
Yep, huge overspeed.
And yeah, the move is basically done. But Jason makes a late move on Speedy. I don't think he expected that, and he gets a bit of a hit from Speedy into his rear. And now Speedy sticks in his nose down the inside of Jason in Cova Grande and actually reclaims the position. Will Jason try something down the inside? No, he won't. Speedy not getting the best run through. I forgot that chicane's name.
Roger chicane, yeah.
Roger, okay.
So it looks like Speedy, at least for the time being, is going to keep that position. But I'm wondering about J-Rock's, and I think Bantz's P4 is under serious threat here because J-Rock's on much better tyres, and he does have the pace today by the looks of it. So J-Rock's driving a great race. He started on the soft tyres and he's moved on to these super soft tyres for his second stint, and now he's reaping the rewards because he is very, very fast.
Oh, Michael is off! Michael is into the wall, Parabolica!
Oh
he lost
no!
the front wing. Oh no!
What a disaster for Michael. He was running P3 and he's going to have to pit, I think.
J-Rock's up into P4.
And that's a penalty as well, I think. No, it's not a penalty for him. He managed to get it stopped, but my goodness.
I was about to go up the order with my camera to have a look what Etney and Sergius are doing, and then I just came across a Williams that was heading towards the barriers at a really high speed, and it turned out to be Michael. So really unfortunate.
Yeah, that's very unfortunate. That's not a real Haas, by the way. That's Hugo's desynced Haas on my screen at the moment, and he's going to be pushed out of the way by his teammate as well. Yeah. So that's not really a battle that's happening. But yeah, Michael, very, very unfortunate. He doesn't manage to, as we see Jason shoving the Haas out of the way.
And Spence gets out of shade, out of Lesmo 2. He got onto the gravel, so J-Rox claims podium position 3, and he has started in P17, so J-Rox really a standout performance. Yeah,
fantastic.
Today, Speedy with a penalty.
Speedy with a penalty could be a big deal. He's battling still with Jason, with Jason,
and,
so...
will Benz take revenge though? I don't think J-Rox has got a penalty. Benz certainly has one, but still, of course, he's allowed to fight for this podium position on track. But his run is a bit wide, so not the best acceleration out of Parabolica, and of course the super soft tires J-Rox has got on his car are faster out of Parabolica, so no counter move.
And
Jason brakes late! Oh, Jason just broke really late onto Speedy, and he takes the position down the inside. I don't think Speedy expected that, and Jason just licked the stamp and sent it.
Yeah, I was going to say there was almost an incident in front because Bantz outbraked himself into the first chicane as well and almost hit the back of J-Rox. Yeah. But Jason sending one down the inside of Speedy, so Speedy's got it all to do again here. This is a good battle between these two. We didn't really see much of that incident in the first chicane just now, but certainly Jason has sent it down the inside a couple of times and doesn't have any fear there going up against Speedy. So good stuff from him. Unfortunately, Michael is all the way at the back now, down to P13, and well, it's been a real struggle for him. Where is Hugo's, by the way?
Hugo's is in P13, so he probably got forced onto that pit stop. He might have hit a wall or something and we didn't see it.
Yeah, makes sense.
He's slowly making his way up the order, as well as Michael, who is now behind Hartz and P12, while Hartz has P11, and Michael will try to get himself at least back into the points as Hartz makes a move down the inside of Tipsy Bob into Ascari, and he punts. He gives Tipsy a bit of a tap, and Michael slips through and almost loses it out of Ascari. That looked like his second death in two laps. Turned out to be just fine and only a heart attack.
Yep, he hung on to it. So good stuff from Michael. He's got Tipsy all over the back of him now. Once again, we got Hugo's desync tars in the way of everybody. So yeah, it's just things we have to deal with. Let's have a look at the Jason Speedy battle, because that's still a battle that's raging for P5 right now. There's going to be a battle, I think, as well between J-Rox and Bantz. If Bantz can stay in DRS range of the Mercedes, because obviously J-Rox has much better tyres. Copy apparently lost connection to Steam, he says in chat, so bad luck, Copy.
Michael just passed Harzer for the last points paying position, and now he has got the target of Ocean Chief ahead. Further up the road, I think he could get up into like P7 or something like that. Speedy passing Jason on the entry of Parabolica.
It's not the wisest move though, is it? Because he's going to lose DRS now for the next straight. Jason's going to be past him very easily.
Yeah, he actually did. So Jason now, of course, with higher max speed, as Please is retired.
Yeah, Jason back up the inside into turn 1. So
Please lost his car. So I think it was after the first Lasmo. He's parked up there and probably left after that. So in fashion like I did in Spa, for example. Losing all of the wing and then just retiring. Out of frustration, Michael makes the pass onto Ocean Chief. So he's now in P9 again, where he originally started.
Good stuff from Michael. He's had an adventure today.
When I said he could get maybe get up into P7, I didn't see the gap to Triton.
Yeah,
which
13
is
seconds. Yeah.
13 seconds. So
it's a long way to make up.
I didn't see that.
Yeah, not so much. But Speedy falling off the back of Jason now. There are 3 laps to go after this one, so not very long left in this race. Sergios is going to win for sure. He has been the fastest driver today, I would think. He's got on the better strategy by the looks of it too. So soft tyres doing work for him. Etney putting the mediums on instead. Not managing to be as fast as Sergios, and Etney, of course, with all those penalties as well. We don't think Sergios has any penalties. So good stuff from him. J-Rox still in P3. So J-Rox has managed to break DRS on that Bantz now, who is down in P4. And this is the battle for the last place in the top 5. Speedy in the slipstream heading up to the second chicane. No DRS here, but there will be on the back straight heading down towards Ascari.
Both tyres exactly with the same age, so they are fighting each other on equal grounds.
Yep, absolutely. Speedy getting himself a little bit sideways on the way into the first Lesmo, but managing to get it straightened out again. It's just a bit of oversteer on the exit of Lesmo too. It looks a little bit scary on board with Speedy, honestly. His car is not very planted. He's having to fight oversteer in a lot of these corners. Yeah,
maybe a bit of an aggressive setup.
Yeah, maybe.
Probably messed with the ballast or something like that. Because at least to me it looks like that, but also I'm not making my setups myself, so I don't have much idea of what I'm talking about.
Yeah, no, that's it certainly is the case that he tends to run more aggressive setups. And yeah, he gets a wiggle on the exit of Parabolica as well.
Yep.
So 2 laps to go. Michael gets himself another penalty. That's unfortunate.
Won't really make a difference. Ocean Chief is Ocean Chief is really close to getting to dropping out of this 3-second time window behind Michael, but I don't know whether Michael has another penalty. I think he has got 2. But Ocean Chief might as well. Yeah, I really dislike that
Michael
he can't
has
just display the penalties.
Michael has at least 2 penalties, so I think Ocean Chief might be alright there. I don't know though, because
depends. whether he has got some on his
Yeah,
his part.
well, Ocean
And
Chief
Hugo's
definitely has at
passes
least 3,
Tipsy
actually.
Bob into turn 1, so now he is in P12, and that's probably where his voyage will end.
Yep, I would have thought so. It's a little bit of a gap to Hartzer in front. So Hugo's, despite what my timing stand says, is actually in 12th place right now. Speedy following Jason all the way through the Ascari chicane once again. And looks like Jason might just have this. He's got... Oh, what's happened? Ocean Chief. There's... no, that's... my standings are lying to me again. There were yellow flags in Sector 2, and it looked for a second as though Ocean Chief was... Oh!
Ocean Chief is retired! Ocean Chief hit the wall on the exit of the second Lesmo.
Oh,
I think.
dear. So...
Let's have a look. I will go on board with Jesse to see if I can spot the car.
I'll do the same. So we're going to see Ocean Chief's Renault in the middle of the track. Oh,
Please,
yeah, we
F
are
in
on the
chat,
right-hand side. That's exactly what
there's a
happened.
wheel off.
So, yeah, F's in chat for Ocean Chief, who's crashed with 2 laps to go, unfortunately. Sergios gets himself a penalty. That's not going to matter, though. So this is really the only battle. This is the last lap of this race. And the only real battle is this one for P5 between Jason and Speedy. But I don't think Speedy is going to get himself... Oh, I see. He almost loses the car on the exit of the first Lesmo. He's trying pretty hard, but I think don't think there's anything really to be done. So Sergios crosses the line. He wins the race. Good stuff from Sergios.
We've seen that a lot in this season.
Yep. Etney comes across the line, finishes second place.
And J-Rox
a
is about to enter
podium.
Parabolica.
We assume it's a podium with penalties, not exactly sure, but J-Rox, by the looks of it, is going to get himself third place. A fantastic
Benz has at least 1 second, has at least 1 penalty, 3.7 seconds, so that is probably, it's... no,
J-Rox had a lot of penalties. He had 3 penalties by the looks of it. So J-Rox down to P5. Unfortunately, Bance gets himself a podium. And Speedy finishes P6. He was actually a long way behind Jason because of the penalties. Slash LP 7th after a pretty good drive.
Triton recovery drive after that drive-through penalty after the jump start. He's probably, cooking right now in his helmet.
And Michael,
his metaphorical helmet.
Oh, Michael had a podium, but
and Duras gets himself
threw it away.
5 seconds. Yeah, okay. Yeah, he didn't suffer penalty. He goes across the line in P12 in the end after penalties.
So there we go. That's Sergios wins this one, and it's looking like it might just be his championship now, because he has a huge lead on Etney, who finishes second. Bance with an excellent podium finishes P3, and Jason and J-Rox rounding out the top 5. J-Rox with an excellent drive after an interesting strategy. He started 17th on the grid. He started on the softs, and then he went onto the super softs, so he was faster than everyone.
Oh, Sergios had penalties.
Yeah, Sergios had, he had 2 penalties by the looks of it.
LP, the only one without penalties. So I think we can now move on to our drive of the day picks.
Yeah.
I don't think the penalties changed too much. I was originally going for J-Rox because he was of course in P3. Now with the penalties, he dropped down 2 positions, but I mean he still made a really good drive. And then on the other hand, okay, you might give it to Sergios for completely dominating the field. Vance also had a good race, and Jason was again, I mean he got the drive of the day last time, and he really had a good drive this time, having a really, I think most of the time, clean battle with Speedy, which he won in the end. So I'm not quite sure, but I think Jason or J-Rox, probably rather J-Rox.
I think giving it to J-Rox is fair enough, and yeah, like you said, honourable mentions for, certainly for Bance, for P3. Honourable mention also for Michael, who was in that 3rd place for much of the race before throwing it away in Parabolica. So
I was about to give it to Michael or to J-Rox, and then Michael crashed.
Yeah, absolutely.
Briggy also could have claimed it, but then he, I don't know, died.
Something happened to him. I don't
disconnected,
know if it was his
something.
internet or whatever. But that is the Italian Grand Prix in the SLR series. This is now the SLR series. Basically, we didn't want people thinking that the 2SRL race were like a second division of this, because that's not how
Just
it works.
a cheap clone!
They are separate leagues, and in fact the 2SRL was around and has been around for considerably longer than SLR. So
we are the OGs.
Yep, absolutely. So, but yeah, SLR round 14 is done, and I think the championship battle is, well, kind of on life support now. Sergios is looking like he's going to take the championship in SRL's first season. So that's the SLR race. Join us tomorrow for the 2SRL race. Join us as well in a little bit for the, very shortly indeed, in fact, for the 6 hours of Nürburgring on iRacing. It's going to be me driving along with Bantz and Revo from 2SRL, and we're going to see if we can place well in the 6-hour endurance race. But other than that, I think that does it for this broadcast. Any final thoughts, Thimo? We good to go?
I dislike Monza, but this was good.
Yep, it was good. Absolutely. That's a good note to end it on. Thanks everyone for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks. Goodbye.